Star Trek Strange New Worlds faces one big problem before Season 3 premieres. When Star Trek Strange New Worlds premiered in 2022, it felt like a breath of fresh air for the franchise. Fans embraced Captain Pike's charismatic leadership, Spock's evolving humanity, and a crew that balanced nostalgia with new energy. It quickly became a fan favorite, standing alongside the best of modern Trek. Yet, as the series approaches its third season, it faces one problem that could overshadow its brilliance if not handled carefully: balancing character-driven episodic storytelling with the looming weight of Star Trek canon. This is a uniquely Strange New Worlds challenge. The show is both a prequel and a successor, caught between honoring the original series TOS while also carving out its own identity. The closer the story moves toward the Kirk era, the harder it becomes to keep tension alive, since audiences already know the fates of certain characters. And Season 3, with its confirmed introductions of more familiar faces, threatens to deepen this problem. The prequel trap. Prequels are notoriously difficult to manage. The audience already knows where the larger story ends, so surprises must come from how things happen, not if they do. Strange New Worlds has been clever in this respect. By centering on Pike's foreknowledge of his tragic fate, the writers built tension around inevitability, not uncertainty. Watching Pike wrestle with destiny has been one of the most compelling arcs in the series. But not every character can sustain that level of intrigue. Spock, Chapel, and Uhura all appear later in TOS, so their survival isn't in question. Season 3 risks overloading the Enterprise with legacy characters, which can make the stakes feel artificial. No matter how dangerous the situation looks, the audience knows certain characters will make it out alive. This limits the emotional power of the show's cliffhangers and battles. The Kirk problem. One of the biggest shifts coming in Season 3 is Paul Wesley's James T. Kirk becoming a more prominent presence. Kirk is an iconic character, arguably the character most associated with Star Trek. His inclusion makes sense, given the timeline overlap, but it also puts Strange New Worlds in a tricky position. On one hand, Kirk adds instant excitement. On the other, the show risks becoming overshadowed by him. Pike has been the defining captain of this series, a man with empathy, humor, and quiet strength, offering a refreshing contrast to both Kirk and later captains. If Kirk starts stealing the spotlight, Pike's role could shrink in significance, undermining what makes Strange New Worlds unique. This is the essence of the problem. How do you balance the thrill of seeing familiar icons while still protecting the characters who made Strange New Worlds stand out? Canon versus creativity. Another layer to this problem is canon itself. Star Trek has decades of established continuity, and Strange New Worlds often walks a tightrope between respecting it and reinventing it. The reinterpretation of Spock and Chapel's relationship, for example, delighted some fans while frustrating purists who see it as a contradiction to their later dynamic. Season 3 will only intensify this tension. The closer the show gets to TOS, the less freedom it has to take creative risks without contradicting established events. Will the writers stick rigidly to continuity, even if it stifles storytelling? Or will they bend canon for compelling drama, knowing it may ignite fan backlash? The show's biggest strength so far has been its ability to lean into episodic adventures that feel like modern versions of TOS. Each episode has its own distinct tone: comedy, horror, musical, war drama, yet all remain anchored in character growth. The danger is that as the stakes of canon tighten, Strange New Worlds may lose that playful variety in favor of big, continuity-heavy arcs. The ensemble balance. There's also the matter of screen time. The Enterprise crew is large, and fans have become attached to its ensemble cast. Ortegas, M'Benga, Lon, and Una have their own strong followings, yet many already feel underserved compared to Spock, Chapel, and Pike. With Kirk stepping in and canon-driven arcs taking center stage, the risk is that these secondary but vital characters will fade even further into the background. If Strange New Worlds wants to avoid the pitfalls of becoming just a prequel checklist, it needs to make sure these characters get stories that matter. Season 3 should not only build toward the legacy of TOS, but also continue deepening the lives of those who didn't exist in the 1960s series. Otherwise, they'll feel like passengers on their own ship. The way forward. So how does Strange New Worlds solve this looming problem before Season 3 premieres? The key lies in confidence. The show doesn't need to lean too heavily on Kirk, canon events, or legacy ties to earn legitimacy. It already has it. Fans love Pike's Enterprise precisely because it's not